Welcome to the second part of how to make the bracketing presentations that present the argument of a Bible passage using the method called bracketing. In part 1, we drew this diagram of 2 Timothy 3 verses 16 and 17 in BibleArc. What we want to do now is transfer this diagram into PowerPoint and present it in a way that it can unfold little by little. And that's what I'm going to show you. I like to use a dark background with white text, so that's what I've got prepared. And we start with the passage of scripture typed out in the top right hand corner. What we are going to do is we are going to produce each slide with the scripture text on the right, and then we're going to add in the lines and labels. We start with a listing of all of the far left hand side labels. So for our diagram, the first and largest level of division is that verse 16 is part 1 and verse 17 is part 2, and we have those in an action-manner relationship. An action-purpose relationship. So I separate those two verses. I'll tell you how to do that in a moment. Okay, then we'll duplicate the slide. Now, what I want to do is create the next slide in which this first part will have its second level of division shown. I'm going to move this down to create some space. If you hold the Shift key, left click the mouse, you can drag it straight without it deviating left or right. I want to duplicate this one. I'm going to use Control Shift. You see the little plus next to my mouse? That'll allow me to duplicate the text box. I'll move that down so you can see what I'm doing. And essentially the split is that our first clause is all scripture is breathed out by God, and the rest of verse 16 and profitable was our next clause. So I'll put that there. If I select all my text boxes and I go to Format and I choose a line, PowerPoint has this function called Distribute Vertically, which will make sure that my text boxes are equally distributed vertically. I want to make my next slide. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. In my next slide, I separate out for teaching, etc. So I make a duplicate, take those words out of there, move those words out of there, put this somewhere in the middle, and if I select all of those again and I go Format, Align, Distribute Vertically, it'll split them more or less evenly. I need to do one more. Now let's duplicate that slide one more time. And for this last one, I'm going to cheat a little. I want to make my list, but I can make my list simply by entering these. Move that up a fraction, and let's again select, Format, Align, Distribute Vertically. So now I have my text laid out as I plan to use it. That's slide 1. That unpacks the first part at the first level, second level, last level, etc. Okay, I might choose to spread this a little further because I've got lots of space here. Now what I need to do is start putting labels on these. So what I'll do is I'll take a duplicate version of that and drag it to the far left, and I will name it with my first label. So this is going to be action. And then I want to make that box as small as I can. And if you can see this, I want to drag it right into the middle of that guy. And then I want to make a duplicate for a label for the second one. And this one I'm going to call Purpose. I'm going to need to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so PowerPoint has its own finickitynesses. But there we get the purpose. So that's the labels for my first level. I'm going to copy those, paste them onto my second slide, make sure I align them with the middle of the text boxes that they're working with. That one's aligned. This one goes here. Oh, come on. There we go. And now what I want to do is add in my next layer of labels. So this was going to be action again. And I want to duplicate this guy to make it action result. And I'll copy those, put them onto my next one. Let's see if these are aligned. They should be. Yeah. Let's get him aligned. Use the shift key when dragging to go only in one direction. So I can move this up to make sure it's aligned again. Now I want to copy two more labels. Let's do these two because they're going to be the same ones. Control C, Control V will duplicate those. So this is an action. And this again is a purpose. Okay, and for the last one, I need to do the whole lot. Okay, so for the last one, we do everything, paste them in. They should be more or less correct at the top anyway. Yep. Let's get him aligned at the bottom. It's not going perfectly, but anyway. And then for this lot, we would have a final set here that we have as a series. So I'll type series. We're going to need a few of these. Okay. Should have made the line wider, but anyway, you get the idea. So I'd have a series of these guys. So now I want to insert my lines. I'm going to start on the first slide. We'll choose a straight line. I want to start just beyond the action thing, and I want to go, I don't want it to grab. You see it wants to attach to that. I don't want it to do that. I can see there that I'm in the middle of the line, pretty much, more or less. Maybe go down a fraction. Now I take that line, same thing, Control Shift, grab it, duplicate it. Control CV will give me a new line. I can go and add it to the top there, and I've added that line. I'll select these. I want to bring them to the front so that they're in front of the line. Now there's a problem here. My text boxes, the line is still visible. What I need to do is make the text box the same color as the background so that it hides the line that's going over it. Alright, so we'll do that first. It'll be easier. Select the text boxes, format, shapefill is black. Now I'm going to come here, I'm going to copy one of these lines, paste it in. I want to get it aligned to there. Control Shift for the second one. Control Shift for the third one. If we paste a line in, I can use that for my horizontals. So this one goes from action to the purpose. I want to duplicate this. I'm going to move it to here. Now I need to shorten these two. This goes to here. This goes to here to show that this portion is subordinate to that. And the only last thing I need to do is select my text boxes and bring them to the front. So that looks pretty good. Let's copy the lines again, and we rinse and repeat. And there we have it. I've made a diagram of those two verses. Because I've chosen the warp animation, it will create a wonderful effect when I run my diagram. So we start there, and the morph animation will cause the letters to look like they are moving, like that, and like that, and like that. So that's the second part in creating a presentation based on your bracketing diagram, where you can have it unfold little by little.